Lady has some nice tattoos over there. Looks like she's covered. They look nice though. I saw a guy on YouTube that had an angel experience. A video that popped up. Usually, angel experiences I usually have by women. In fact, I was the only dude that I could find that had one. Usually, for whatever reason, I don't know why, they appear to women. But I talked about my angel experiences here before. I know there's, I always say, I made a video about it already. If you ever want to, see anything that I refer to, just go to, the videos and just do a search. Go under where all the videos are, type in, angel. And it'll bring up all, my angel videos. I sometimes put the thumbnail there up on the screen, but I don't know how to make that link to a video. And I'm not gonna learn. But yeah, I didn't even watch it, the video. I just saw it in my feed and I'm like, hey, that's a guy. So I earmarked it for later. I probably should have watched it before I started talking about it, but I've never done things right in my entire life. I'm not about to start now. I just thought it was interesting that, that there was a guy that had an experience like that. I haven't had anything like that happen. I haven't had any supernatural type stuff going on at all in a long time. It's been a while. There were a few demon run-ins that amounted to nothing. I saw it in there. I saw it there in the person, and didn't get anything good. I've gone over and over about why I think that is. It has to do with the camera. The more substantial interactions I was having with these things were before I started doing a channel. Because of course, right? You wouldn't have any proof to show people. It's just, trust me, dude. I don't really care about that stuff, though. When I first started, I did. I didn't even talk about... When I first started doing this stuff, it was almost 2 years before I started telling the stories about the demons. It's just so weird, because it's even if people do believe you, it's still it just feels I wouldn't believe me if I wasn't me. In fact, I still kind of don't believe me, and I'm me about anything. But yeah, I had a hard time trying to figure out if I should talk about it at all. And then once I did, it was okay, then now, it was a while after that I started talking about the angel situation. But yeah, sometimes I think about stuff that I've gone through, since I came into the spiritual war scenario. Once you know it, that it's happening and understand it, and it's so de facto brought into it, a lot of stuff changes. Shit changes, man. Trevor, this is my fucking trailer. I'm not moving out of it. Yeah, things change pretty quickly. It's like I've said before, when you appear on the screen as a player, the other players can see you. Like a radar screen or something. You alert everyone else involved in the game that you are also in the game, and then the outside world around you starts changing, and things start being more well, it runs again, but it starts to Truman Show. The Truman Show aspect of life starts to gear up quite a bit, and then there's the supernatural aspects of things, and yeah, it's pretty crazy when I think of the stuff that I've kind of experienced since, I don't know, 2017 when it really started getting involved with it. And it was through the interactions with demonic entities that got me into this whole thing. And first, I didn't know what they were. I thought it was just some kind of weird CIA sort of program where they mind control homeless people. I didn't know. I was thinking all kinds of stuff. The last thing I was thinking of was demonic possession. Speaking of demonic possession, going over to the 7-0 store now. I'm going to concentrate on getting across the street lot. I just was walking behind a dude that had like a full sweatsuit on. Like Run DMC kind of style, but it was sweat clothes. The hat, you're kind of like a Little John or something. That's one thing about the new residents that are here, the ones that they kicked out all the Islanders for, sadly, and replaced them with, is that they come, I don't know about the ones that are straight from Africa. I mean, there's some from Haiti, some from Africa, but there's a lot of the same kind of people from the mainland. Because when it's about destroying cities, they don't care. They'll take, for them, any old black people will do. You know, they figure they probably all look the same anyway, whatever. That's the thing, the people at the top of the pyramid that protect classes or, you know, force them into every possible space, they don't like them. I mean, they hate everybody. They see us, they see all of us as the same. We're all the same. It's just them and us. And them is very small. And everybody else, black, white, Latino, gay, straight, we're all one group. And meanwhile, we're constantly fighting this divisionary fucking war against each other. Everyone, you know, the straights don't like the gays don't like the straights, the blacks don't like the whites don't like the blacks, although they don't admit it. You know, it's too bad, because they sit back and laugh. But I noticed a lot of the guys, the new people that came in here, the mainland guys, must be from like colder cities, because they still wear winter gear. I mean, I never forget one night, I think it was last summer, I saw a gang of new kids. That's like the slow piano version. When they have like a reboot, you know, ding, ding, ding. Like when they do like Star Wars or something, they introduce the new trailer with a real bad slow piano version of the classic theme. That's how they're gonna launch the New Kids Revival. You just see their clothes hanging up and the piano. Ding, ding, yeah, but the new people, they still wear their winter gear. Like, there was one gang of new kids, and new to here, dressed like those Jay-Z videos where they'll be like in Brooklyn and they're all like fucking jumping up and down and stuff. They're all dressed in winter gear because it's fucking cold out there. You know, it's cold there, but it's become like a look. You know, it's become like a fashion thing. So like, they still rock that stuff here. And I just remember that, you know, and it still happens now. Like the guy I was just behind with the bowl, he's got to be fucking sweating his ass off. And you got to think to yourself, like, this, is the lack of awareness that low? Maybe they don't feel the heat. I don't know. But yeah, it was like a group of them, and those big puppy kind of Jay-Z snow coats with the fur and the collars and stuff. I'm like, Jesus, I would not want to be behind them, because imagine a smell. You know you're in a store too much when you're on a first name basis with everyone. They put this Target up here, you know what I mean? Since they put it in, I've kind of cut down on my my longs visits. So I went in there like last week, and I'm coming up the escalator, and I got people on either side of it just looking down at me smiling. I'm like, what the fuck is this there? And they're like, hey Jim, how you doing? Where you been? Like I was getting off a cruise ship and meeting family or something. It was funny. Because I guess, you know, when you see someone every day, sometimes multiple times a day, and then you stop seeing them, you kind of probably, it was embarrassing and nice at the same time. I don't know, I can't deal well with that warmness, you know, when people are nice to me. In here too, and oh, there's the sweatsuit guy. I don't know if you can see him. No, oh, there you go. I'll point him out there, because kind of, even though I can see him right there, on the camera, it's gonna look 100 miles away. Yeah, even when people on the comments give me compliments and stuff, I just feel really awkward. I don't know what to say. I'm used to people giving me shit, you know. I've always been doing stuff, I guess, for you'd call public consumption, I suppose, as a musician, you know, playing shows, releasing music, being around the music scene, and I was just constantly defending myself there, you know, especially online. You know, the old back really, I was involved heavily in the music scene in Boston right before social media got big. Like I left the band, or I left music in 2008 originally. I mean, I came back, but yeah, but it was never back to the levels of busyness and that we were, or the awareness, people's awareness of us that we were at before. So in those days, in the early days of the 2000s, which is now known as the lost media era, there's another name for it too. I think Beato had a name for it, and I'll explain what it is in just a minute. But before the social media, it was all about message boards. You know, we had a one for Boston, you know, big one, and our area was a noise board. Now, what was great about that, and it was ruined as soon as they changed this, is that it was an anonymous board. You know, you could be post as anonymously. It's fucking how that works. And people could be honest. And I would get so much shit on there. Oh my God, it was hilarious. I got memed on hard. But I was always fighting with people. You know, I mean, we had some supporters, for sure. You know, I shouldn't say, I mean, you know, the thing with us is I think that was part of the problem, though. Is the supporters we did have looked like it was done strategically, you know. So, and I think people, it felt like they were being gaslit by us, and they kind of were. And they kind of were, because our whole thing was, it wasn't strategically done, but it was done with you know, some thinking behind it. Most bands, like, especially in that area, they're worried about their integrity. You know, I mean, and it's good to worry about that, I guess. In music, though, personal integrity, and it's another thing, but I don't know how I don't really think about that. And when it comes to music, I think you just want to entertain people. But the yeah, so their whole thing is you get in the rehearsal space, you get in the garage, you play gigs, and you know, you work your way through it. And if you're good, people will like you. That complete horseshit that isn't true, you know. So we took advantage of the tools that were available to us, promotional tools, and kind of some outside the box kind of thinking, to make the perception that the band was a lot more over than we were. It's a whole thing I don't want to get into, but the point is, I would have to defend myself a lot. So I was just prepared for that. Here, when I started doing this, I'm like, and still every time the notice comes up on my phone, because I have like a notice thing that tells me when I got a comment. That's why I'm usually like, I'm right on top of it. Unless the phone is charging, I shut it off to charge. You know, who gives a fuck? When it goes up, I usually jump on it. But every time one comes in, I'm always like, oh no, like I'm expecting. I'm expecting something mean that I have to fucking, you know. But no, people, I mean, outside of a rare exception, it's, you know, it's just good stuff. He's probably stopped encouraging me. But yeah, the lost media era, this is what happened here, and I'm going to explain it to you, is at the dawn of the century, CD sales were tanking, they were going down, right? Broadband was coming into more houses. People getting more broadband. So they started getting the music online. Sometimes pirating, but they had other things available to them, like Apple Music. I used to buy from them all the time. In fact, our band is still on there. I don't know who's getting that money though. If any are being made. I don't even know if the track has been sold in 10 years, but I don't own any of this stuff. But and I don't know who does. That's a funny thing. But I used to buy from there, and you'd collect the MP3s and put them in a folder, use them for your iPod. Jesus, I remember iPods. The last iPod I bought was like $1,200. It was like the super, super fucking deluxe, bells and whistles, fucking iPod, insurance, all this stuff. $1,200 I spent. And Nia took it to work a week after I got it and lost it, left it there. I didn't care. I was, what are you going to do? You know, I hadn't been seeing her too long, so I didn't want to act mad, but that kind of sucked. I didn't run out and buy another one, though. It's just like, fuck it, I wasn't meant to have it. That, between that and how I almost losing it in New York, doing a gig in Manhattan, I left the windows down in my car in the parking garage. Didn't know it. So when I came, because I was in a hurry, I was late to get to the gig. So I was in the parking garage just changing, putting on my gear, you know. And I left it, the windows open. But this was before Obama. This was previous to Obama. So, which meant the black woman who was taking the tickets watched it for me and made sure no one stole anything. You know, because that's how it was back then. You know, there wasn't this contentious, like, fucking clash between all the peoples that came when Obama brought back racism. Were it today, yeah, she would have just stolen the stuff herself. But, yeah, so I almost got it ripped off, and then Nia lost it. So I guess it was messaging that I wasn't meant to have it. But anyway, that iPod was full of stuff I would download, sometimes on the high seas, sometimes from Apple Music. I'd buy some stuff from Amazon. We're also on Amazon still. I think our first album is anyway. Not all of them. If you ever want to hear our stuff, all our albums, I know, are on Reverb Nation. And I'm pretty sure it's just free to listen and free to download. But other streaming services, SoundCloud, Napster, Apple, it's all on that stuff. I don't think we're on Spotify, though, which is funny, the biggest one. But I think we made all those kind of deals before the ascension of Spotify into prominence. And the band was broken up, you know, when that happened, so no one ever did that kind of shit. No one got that shit done. But anyway, that's how music was. You had a collection of MP3s. Streaming wasn't really a thing. You know, people would go to YouTube and listen to music there. You could still listen to whole albums there, but it was uploaded from different YouTube users. They were, you know, they'd get strikes a lot, be taken down. The quality, you know, was iffy. And that's when we were making and releasing music. Conversely, there was no YouTube, right? So even though we did film some gigs, I don't know what the fuck they are, it wasn't, our emphasis wasn't on doing video. Like, if it was now, being the kind of band we would have had videos all the time. I'd be doing a video like this with the band, like a blog, because I had a blog. The band had a blog. That was probably the thing people visited most. It was called The Diary of Doom, right? And I used to shorten the name of it, like, as a fucking nickname, was DOD, right? And then I always referred to it as DOD. I was getting all this traffic from all these army bases and places in Afghanistan and places in Iraq. A lot of traffic from military, international and domestic. I mean, why the fuck what are they looking at us for? Department of Defense, DOD. So, yeah. So I can only imagine what they thought when they got there. But, so, we weren't recording anything. We weren't making videos. Even making a video, like a music video, we met with someone to talk about that. And for the price we were going to have to pay, even to make a real basic one, it just wasn't worth it. Because we're like, well, where are we going to play it? At our website? Maybe, and then who gives a fuck? It just wasn't worth the money and time. So we didn't do it. So, and as far as music, like I said, the streaming sites we are on was an afterthought. That came when we got back together in 2015 for a brief period. 10-minute rule on the cigarette I dropped it, but this 10-minute rule. So the point is now, and Beato was talking about this, highlighting a real popular band at the time that had chart singles, and in the top, I forget what band it was, some girl frontman, and he's talking about how you have absolutely no footprint now, because at the time they had success and they broke out, and they run around when streaming happened, they run around when YouTube was even open, so it's like they don't exist. And there's a lot of bands that fall into that category, us being one of them. Our most prolific time was the early part of the century. That's when we were, doing the most stuff. And there's nothing from it. Like, you go on YouTube, I think there's a couple interviews. One of them's just with me from around the reunion type era. It's just me though. And there's parts of the show, I think. It's kind of weird. It's like, oh, you're in a band? Yeah, what do you got? Well, we don't have anything. There's nothing you can see. Everything about that was an afterthought. Like we do have an official Facebook page, and we have like a couple official Instagram pages I used to upkeep, but I don't do it anymore, and no one else does. Everybody, whatever. So I think they've been stagnant for a while. But yeah, it's the lost media. It's like, if you're a band, like this one Beato was mentioning, they gave Providence, had hit singles with Billboard, broke up, and now they've left really no footprint. It's almost like they never existed. That's the window of time my band is in. We were the busiest from 2003 to about 2007, maybe even 2006. Just that short window in time. We did a lot of stuff, and we're very active, and did all the things, and released music, but there was no video components to any of it because there was no way to play that shit. Again, YouTube didn't exist, so it's weird. We happened to be there for that lost media period. Anything you can find about us online now is after the fact stuff. I don't know how we got to talking about this. How did we get to talk about my fucking stupid band? Did we start somewhere good and end up here? I don't know. I can't think of it right now though, so I'm going to just forget about it. Later when I'm editing, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to go in now and take a quick shower. Winter's, I feel like winter's coming to an end. It's only in February and it's already like heating up a little bit. Winter's usually my favorite time of year here because it's cold. It's colder. It's cold at night. Here it's, I don't mind the heat. I mean, I grew up on the north shore of the mainland, so I've pretty much done with snow and all that shit anyway. But that's the problem for me to think about, me to work out, not you though. Thanks for dropping by. Till next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.